his dignified and restrained way, he was passionately concerned, especially in the last 4 or 5 years of his life, about the future of opera and of singing. He saw the gramophone as a double-edged weapon, something for the man with causes such as his to fight with, and yet one that he might have to fight against, too. With the advent of electrical recording, the count of noise, or of any right of sheer power, volume, became a worse menace. Aspiring singers would learn all the wrong lessons. In one of his last articles, he told of a young man who'd come down from the north to audition for him, a tenor, and in a strangely nervous condition, at first unable to sing at all. Eventually, in huge, distorted tones, bellowed a phrase or two, and then collapsed. He'd been listening to records of Caruso. All wrong. Not that Steine himself appears to have been a gloomy man, or unduly pessimistic in his outlook. On his death in 1934, it was really Compton Mackenzie who struck the gloomy note. He felt death came like a portent of it's a melancholy satisfaction, these were his words, to feel that during the last decade, the Gramophone magazine has been able to preserve unbroken the great tradition of operatic. But it might have been even more melancholy, or no satisfaction to Hammond Klein, if he'd lived on another decade, to find at the end of it no opera or operatic singing to criticize. Again came the thought of the great continuity he represented, the reaching into the dark, backward and abysmal of time. When you discussed music with him, Mackenzie ruminated, you were talking to a man who had talked to people who knew Beethoven. Actually, if readers cared to do their own sums, they would have noticed that he was not 1,000 years old when he died, but a comfortable 77. But of course the sum was not very meaningful. It was the great divide that did it, the divide of the centuries, still more that of the First World War. In the world of the gramophone, too, the electrically recorded and reproduced double-sided record belonged to modern times, the single-sided acoustic to prehistory. Both revolved at 78 RPM. Besides, had not Klein heard the newly arrived Caruso himself, all of 30 years ago? Had he not been the grand ami of Camille Saint-Saëns? And had he not one evening come upon Sir Arthur Sullivan sitting by himself at a performance of Die Meistersinger? Had he not heard Patti and Ternina? Another age, another world. 40, 50 years ago. Sims Reeves, Sir Charles Santley, Simon the Sailor, Dame Marjorie herself.
And Marjorie says that she grows very old, and the fact takes her something to where many a flash of his best to go. But Simon doesn't know where many a flash of his best to go. Old Simon reclines in his high back chair and talks about taking a wife, and Marjorie has to be heard to declare that she ought to be She ought to be so delighted. But Marjorie has told the mainstay at time, and she's not very handsome and not very young. So somehow it ends with a shake of the head, and Simon brought him a pack of his head. He was chuckle and crow. Marry old Marjorie? No. He was chuckle and crow. What? Marry old Marjorie? No.
Sir Charles Santley singing John Hatton's ballad Simon the Cellarer, a recording made in 1903. Those were the days. And there we end the third programme in our series, What the Critics Said. It was written and presented by John Steane.